At this time, I'd like to introduce the board members and district administrators that are here. Jason White, our board chair, is out this week. My name is Tasha Wood, so I'll be facilitating this meeting tonight. We're joined on my right by Dr. Hilda Pena Alfaro. On my left, Dr. Meg Ludlam and Dr. Jonathan Henderson. At the front with us is Superintendent Haber, and we also have, I believe, somewhere in there, various district administrators and building administrators, both in person and on Zoom. I do not believe our student board reps could make it tonight, but Chloe is here by Zoom. Thank you, Chloe. We definitely appreciate our student board reps, and we want to support them. Board, we're going to start with the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
I move that we adopt the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? All right, with a roll call vote. Hilda? Aye. Meg?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
I also vote aye. The consent agenda is accepted. Administration A, the superintendent report.
So we have many celebrations to start out with. I was over at Mount Stewart today, and I had a chance to see the WIN time being implemented. If you guys remember, WIN was all about having a time during the day for students to meet in smaller groups based on their needs, primarily in with either literacy or math. And it was great because at Mount Stewart, we had those shared spaces, if you remember, and also the regular classrooms, and I saw multiple small groups of students. I wanted to be able to share those pictures with you, but it wasn't able to get them cleared before this meeting, so I will share them with you at the next meeting. But it was just really exciting to see students in the building and the building being used the way it was designed, which was to use the shared space that's outside of the classrooms. The beautiful fall leaves, bringing the indoors or outdoors indoors with the natural lighting. It was just really it was a wonderful visit. And Kathy and we have Bill here tonight have just done a phenomenal job in helping their staff to get settled. And I think teachers and students alike are just really excited to be in there. And we're excited to have our students at IDA as well as planned on Monday. And so the other celebrations that I have, and if you want to bring up those pictures. So Leslie and I are working on highlighting different teachers. We have a new some more that we're doing, which is the Inside Edition, where we're highlighting specific teachers and classified staff. And this one really is about our ecosystems class that Eric Wickwire is doing. And if you drive by the high school, sometimes you might see him out there looking like they're fly fishing. The students in his class get a chance to actually build fly fishing rods, but it's more than that. He teaches them all about the complex ecosystems that exist in different streams and waterways in Washington. And certainly the Yakima is famous for fly fishing. And of course, the students get an opportunity at the end of the class to actually try their rods out. And talking to farmer students, they can catch some pretty amazing fish, and it's a real sense of accomplishment for them. And they know about the fish, and they can talk all about the inner relationships that happen between the different organisms in the river. So that is really a celebration. Another huge celebration is homecoming this year. As you know, last year with the pandemic, there was not a homecoming. And our amazing EHS staff was able to go to the game. We had many volunteers, and I sent out a superintendent update to staff today. We're going to get it out to all families tomorrow. We had the fireworks were amazing at halftime, and they were donated, which was just our community partners. Ellensburg is just so supportive of our schools, and I just really appreciate that. And that's a great photo. And that is, Leslie is an amazing action cam. She's out there with her camera catching these amazing pictures. So we had royalty. The princesses all drove up in Jeeps that were donated by a local Jeep club, I believe. And so again, just an example of the partnerships, our band sounded amazing. It was just really a true celebration. And then Kittitas Public Health, led by Candy Blackford and all of our high school administrators, we tested over 400 students right before the dance. And we were able to have an actual homecoming dance. And that's a huge celebration, something that students had to miss out on the past. And I just really want to do a huge shout out to Helena Boychuk, because she really outdid herself in organizing and implementing. And also to thank you to all of our volunteers and all of our EHS staff. It was really a wonderful celebration. And Tasha, I know you had mentioned that you, as a parent, had some shout outs that you'd like to do as well.
Yeah, board, I just wanted to share, a lot of times when we're sitting here as a board, we're always looking at the big picture, and it's hard to know the student experience. And especially this year when our students are uncertainly dealing with COVID. So I happen to have a freshman this year who is in the athletic department. And I've watched these athletic department leaders and coaches have to pivot very quickly over and over again to support these student athletes. And every single time I see them do that, it's in a way that doesn't add additional worry to the student athlete. It's presented in a solution-oriented way. On the cross-country team, led by Jeff Hashimoto and his his coaches. I don't want to miss anyone, so I'm just going to say his coaches. They have a solution, and they are mindful and remind the student athletes that first and foremost, you are a community, and you are here running with a team and supporting a team, and that team extends outside. And so when it was homecoming weekend, they happened to have a meet on Saturday. And so most of those students had tests on Friday. The school was amazing at accommodating their needs and doing the rapid test. Those students who tested negative were able to purchase their homecoming ticket. On Saturday, they were on buses ready to compete. And Saturday night, they were very excited to go to homecoming. By Monday, unfortunately, we found out that there were some positives on that. But the coaching staff was able to support those students, support those families. And I have a freshman who, because of what's happening at the high school, he is very much concentrated on his sport, on his classroom, and on his friends. His worry is not wearing a mask. His worry is not what COVID is. He feels that he can be successful at the high school. And as a mom, I'm reassured by that, because I wasn't too sure that was going to happen, right? He was virtual for 1.5 years. And so I had concerns for them to come back into person. How would my kids react to that? What level of stress would they bring in to it? And it's been amazing how they can be kids and how they can be athletes. And that is to the staff and to the athletic department and Cole Canyon and everyone who's working there to do that.
So unfortunately, Leslie, it's showing that we haven't let people in. People are still in the waiting room. And so there's nobody there's people, I got an email, a text from Damon, Kathy Kiefer, Kelly, and Kim. So somehow there's still people in the waiting room. No, they're at the board meeting. I just sent Damon the link that we have and that you had in the Google in our calendar, and he's not able to get in.
So we will hold for this. We will
Yes,
solve this.
I just
and
have to
we'll
hold.
come back.
You may have to shut it down and start over. It's interesting, you've got some people that have gotten in. Yeah, go all the way up.
Sorry. If you click on invite, what are the last four, like the meeting? It's possible that they have a different invite link.
So because I used the link that.
I think it's a different link. Yeah, or if you could just copy the invite link, I'm just going to come and talk to you, Leslie. So we are going to hold until that invite is sent out to our district admin and those in the waiting room of a different Zoom. We are going to continue to wait until that Zoom invite goes out, and we'll see more people added to Zoom here. Thank you for your patience. I'd like to apologize for the wait and the Zoom trouble. It seems as though we have more people joining us. Thankful to everyone. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Superintendent Heber, for helping to solve that. For those who are just now joining, what the board has done is the Pledge of Allegiance and the introduction of board members. We did pass the consent agenda, and we heard the superintendent update. Board, is there anything else that I missed or that we should add to that recap? And I added a parental update of specifically about the high school supporting students and student athletes. Superintendent Heber, is there anything else you would like to add for that superintendent update?
And just for people that just joined us too, it's what I went over is pretty much already in the superintendent update that I sent out to all staff today, but also adding just a huge celebration for Mount Stewart and their implementation of the wind time today and seeing students excited about learning in their smaller groups. This will be the end of my report.
All right, board, we are going to now move on to agenda item B under administration, the easement resolutions. Dr. Henderson, you weren't with us during the study session, but we were joined by legal counsel then, so we could ask any questions that were needed. We did not have any questions for legal counsel, but we were joined by Damon.
Yeah.
And Superintendent Heber, do you want to?
Yeah, so we recommend approval of this, the easement resolutions, and it's basically allowing folks that need to come onto our land for like utilities that are already on our land, as well as like wells and water, and things like that. And it's outlined in the resolution. So we're just recommending approval of the resolution.
I move that we approve the easement resolutions.
Nice, second.
Meg has moved and Hilda has seconded. Is there any further discussion? The roll call vote. John?
Aye.
Meg?
Aye.
Hilda?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Resolution passes. Agenda item C, the guaranteed maximum price amendment LES resolution.
Yes, and I'd like Damon, if you would, to just review what this resolution is about for the board.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, thank you. So this resolution is just kind of a formality from, it's a requirement OSPI. So back in the fall of, back in the fall of 2020, GMP resolution was passed for $16 million. And during the design process and the budgeting process, there were some items that the school district wished to include into Lincoln that did not fit within the budget. So we included those into the design, and we issued that GMP amendment to the contractor. OSPI is requiring that the resolution that was passed back then be replaced by this resolution to reflect the new GMP price for Lincoln Elementary. So it's really a formality. Again, this goes back to the conversations we had with the Lincoln being a design build project, and it is a new delivery method for OSPI and their SCAP program. So they're still ironing out some procedures as we go through this. And this is one of those kind of like nuances that falls within that gray area if they're not sure how to address it. So we've been in contact with OSPI, and we decided this was kind of the best route, was just to replace the previous resolution with this one. And then we can complete this is the last step in the D9 process. We'll receive the D10, and then we'll be able to move forward.
So again, we recommend passing of this resolution by the board.
Okay, I move that we pass resolution number 05-1021.
Second.
Hilda has moved and Jonathan has seconded. Is there any further discussion?
I'm not sure I caught where the money was coming from. Didn't he say there was about $1 million increase in the guaranteed maximum price?
Damon, did you want to review that information for Meg again?
Okay. Yep. Sorry. Just got unmuted. Yeah. So, Meg, in a design build scenario, when you go into GMP, typically you carry a very high contingency because there is a lot of unknowns when you actually sign GMP. It's very early on in the process, so it's very typical for an owner to carry a high contingency to offset anything that may or may not be covered when the design happens. And in this case, the exact thing happened. So we had a very high contingency, higher than we had on the other two schools, because this delivery method is different. And as we went through the design process, and we got closer to final design, and the school district wanted to add certain things back into the projects, we started reducing that contingency to a more realistic contingency that reflects what it really should be going into the start of construction. So you were carrying the money, is the best way to explain it, as contingency. And the district decided to take that money and put it towards the school for the benefit of the school, and to make it really the school that needs to be there when it opens, rather than trying to have some shortcuts.
So it's basically coming from the contingency. It's not that we have to come up with.
Correct.
It. No, I mean, yeah, it's in our budget. Okay.
That is correct.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions from the board. Thank you, Damon, for supporting us with that information. With a roll call vote, Jonathan?
Aye.
Meg?
Aye.
Hilda?
Aye.
I also vote aye. And Damon, I believe it's right back to you with an update from OAC.
Yeah, you just have to mute him. He's saying he can't.
Okay, there we go. Yep, I'm unmuting now. Yeah, so I don't have any slides or anything. I'll just give a quick verbal update on where we're at. We'll start with Mount Stewart. So obviously Mount Stewart's open. The students or staff are utilizing the school. we're on to phase 3, which is includes the demolition of Old Mount Stewart and then the improvements that go to the play field and play area, the irrigation, everything south of New Mount Stewart. So that work is being done right now. It will go through the middle of November before it's completed. And then also on Mount Stewart, we're working through punch list items and correcting anything that needs to be done that was found during the punch list process. So IDA, obviously the big push is to get IDA open by Monday for students. We have been partnering with the city and coordinating with them to make sure that happens and trying to be out in front of it and transparent on what needs to be done to make that happen. And we had another meeting with them today just to make sure that we're on the right track with their expectations and with the contractor. They feel they're confident that everything will be completed. So as of today, we talked to the city, and the expectation is obviously to get temporary certificate occupancy on Friday, and the students and staff will be able to start school there on Monday. So there will be some residual things, just like Mount Stewart, that need to be done even after the school is open. Of course, we will minimize any disruption to students and staff, work around school hours, things like that, to put any finishing touches on the school that need to be done, any punch list items, and then anything that we need to do to satisfy the city's requirements to get the final certificate of occupancy on that. And then on to Lincoln. Lincoln is kind of in that exciting, watching things be constructed mode. The slab is poured for the new gym. All the steel is on site and the roof is on site, and everything is ready to be erected. And in the next couple weeks, that structure will be standing, and the roof will be near completion. It'll go just like on the 2 new schools. It'll be a really kind of like a fast process where the structure goes up really quick, and you have the visual of the walls and the roof and everything like that. And then we'll get that dried in. And over the winter, obviously the interior work will all start happening. And then also today was the last day that Lincoln Elementary was occupied by students and staff. Movers are already on site. They'll continue to be there on Thursday and Friday to get everything to IDA and get the teachers everything they need to start teaching students on Monday morning, and hopefully minimize as much as we can any disruption to their process of educating and having the environment for the students up there. So once that happens, the contractor takes over the existing school, and we will do the final abatement process and then start demolition, and things will start transforming in the existing school. So kind of a big process, big transition here in the next couple of days. A lot going on, very busy, a lot of activity. But come Monday, we hope that all the Lincoln students and staff are able to be back in school in somewhat normal environment, and then we're off to getting the school done for 2022. Hopefully have it done, or we will have it done. And so, yeah, I'll open any questions. Anybody?
Board, any questions? Damon, you alluded to this, or you said it out loud, that it's a big process. Meg, did you have something you wanted to add? Yeah. Everyone, go ahead, Meg.
I was just going to say it's exciting to have these major milestones happening.
Yeah, and it's
Yes,
quick. milestone. And Damon, you've been with us from the beginning. Like 4 years ago when I first sat on the board, it was all about the bond and building schools because we were so overcrowded and sitting there looking at design builds and being asked questions about color and the community going through and doing that. It's been a remarkable process, and it's going to be community changing, having beautiful elementary schools that are not overcrowded, place where our staff can support and teach without worrying about leaks in the ceiling and electricity not being stable enough to plug in their needed computers. Thank you for all the work and for helping us all the way through, because this is certainly the first time I have sat on any construction of this level. So it's huge. It's huge for our community. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm here anytime anybody has any questions, just please reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer.
All right, board, that brings us to policy. Our first policy is policy 3116, students in foster care.
Yes, and we recommend adoption of this policy. It basically really outlines, as you probably read, all the different ways that we want to, as a district, and do support our students who are in foster care. So we recommend adoption of this policy.
I move that we adopt policy 3116.
I'll second. And note that we've had this policy in effect for some time, and it's mostly about terminological changes from out-of-home care to foster care.
Hilda has moved and Meg has seconded. Thank you for that clarification too, Meg. Is there any further discussion? For the roll call vote, Jonathan?
Aye.
Meg? Hilda?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Policy is adopted. Policy 2108, the Learning Assistance Program.
So this is another policy that we're very excited about, and it is really just ensuring that we have programs in place to really differentiate for the needs of our students. And I got a chance to see that in action today at Mount Stewart, the ways that we are using our instructional time to allow students to meet in smaller groups, to have their needs specifically met. And those are fluid groups too. They're not ones that students are in all the time, which is another important element. And so we definitely support the adoption of this policy.
I understand this policy. There's a program called WISSP, something instructional student support program or something like that, that we are required to adopt by 2025, and they recommend that we adopt it at this point. And this policy references it, which is why I'm bringing it up. Have we decided whether we're going to adopt that program or follow?
We looked over the,
when?
I'm sorry.
No, whether or when, I guess we have to do it eventually.
Yeah, what we're doing right now, we feel like is really aligned with what the policy is asking us to do. It's that multi-tiered system of support groups of programs, and we have those in place.
It's not MTSS, it's WISSP. All right, let me find the policy.
I got it in front of me.
Washington Integrated Student Supports Protocol Framework.
Oh, yes, yes. We are looking, we have an adaptation of that, and I think we're moving towards being able to put that in place.
Thank you.
I move that we adopt policy 2108.
I second.
Hilda has moved and Jonathan has seconded. Is there any further discussion? With the roll call vote, Jonathan? Hilda?
Aye.
Meg?
Aye.
I also vote aye. Policy 2108 is adopted. That brings us to board reports. Early learning, is there a report?
Yes. Yeah, I'm happy to announce that we have a report. We have the first drive on Thursday, October 14, and all the precautions were taken for COVID. So there was distancing and wearing masks. It was very nice. All the students that were there, the families received a bag with a book, educational tools, and our project, as well as resources and activities. And I was very happy to see that this time the book that was included was designed to raise awareness regarding equity and inclusion in our society. And if people are not able to come to the drive-through, they can contact the Learning Coalition by email, and they will deliver all the content, the books for the family. And the next drive will be on November 11. That's Veterans Day from 12 to 1:50 at St. Andrew's Catholic Church. That's all I have.
Thank you for that report. Chloe, I see that you are logged in. Do you have a report tonight? Just give Leslie a second to unmute you.
I do. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to touch on a few things, and one of them being homecoming. I know Superintendent Haber talked a little bit about it, but I think that the school did a really good job. We had a great week. We got to do a couple spirit days, which I saw a ton of students dressing up for. More than I've seen since I've been here. And I think it was really great. The game was great, as well as the dance. And I think a lot of students appreciate the school putting on these things because, you know, this last year hasn't allowed us to experience high school to the fullest. And these things are sort of the spice of high school. And so the dance was very well received by my fellow students. And we're also planning, the ASB is planning on having a trunk or treat, which has been received well. People can sign up, and we're in the parking lot, and the school provides the candy, and you can go around before our last home football game. And it's just a fun way, and I think that kids are really liking this. Another thing I wanted to talk about was testing. We had our SAT and PSAT days last week. And I think a lot of students are really liking how the school provides an SAT day twice a year too, because I've heard a lot of schools don't do this, and some students have to go to other schools to take the SAT or the PSAT. And so having it here in Ellensburg is really, really nice for students who can't travel. So I hope that that's continued in future years. And I think that students just really like that. And I think that's it.
Thank you, Chloe, for sharing those observations and advocating. There is not a teaching and learning report tonight. Meg, do you have a ledge report?
There is not a ledge report tonight because I took a lot of time in study session going over the preparation for the upcoming General Assembly on legislative advocacy.
You did. You walked us through that that work that you're going to do at the end of October, and thank you for doing that. There's not a board chair update. So we are going to move to new business, community input, public comment. And my computer's going to die any minute, so Hilda's loaning me her computer. It's just a night of computer fun. Leslie, if you want to give me a heads up when we're ready for public comment. While we're getting ready, I am going to start reading. Individuals wishing to be heard by the board will first be recognized. Individuals will add their names to the document in the room or within Zoom by using the icon to show they are raising their hands. Once an individual is recognized, they will identify themselves by stating their name and address for the record. Individuals will proceed to make comments within the 3-minute time limit. In order to provide equal opportunity for comments, an individual's microphone will be turned off at the 3-minute time limit. The chair may interrupt or terminate an individual statement when it is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. also want to add Jason White, our current chair, has started a process where he acknowledges the emails that we have received. So the board has received emails from the community. We're thankful for those emails, and all of us have read and reviewed those emails. Let's see, do we have someone in the room who would like to do public comment now?
Good evening. Don't you just love the democratic process? It always excites me to speak before elected officials. Yeah. My name is Lee Bates. I live in the Stonebridge community on Bluegrass Lane. I was at the city council meeting Monday evening, and I told Mayor Bruce Tabb before the meeting, he was wandering around, and I said, he said, "You're here again, Lee?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm here again." I said, "I have a lot to say still, and 3 minutes doesn't give much time." But I also said to him, you know, there's nothing worse than a retired public school teacher who has a lot of time on his hands to go before other public servants and speak his or her mind. So I'd like to read something that came to me in the mail today that I think Damon, I think it's Gardella, might want to pay attention to as well. This is from Billy Meachin of the Washington State Parks Department. Hi, Damon. Sorry I missed your return call. I wanted to discuss with you the trail crossing improvements at Cora Street. Our standard, quote, major crossing, end quote, details that I sent to Chris English, and I have not a clue who that person is, during the design phase of this project does not have stop signs facing the trail users. It has trail crossing warning signs for vehicles and a painted crosswalk. As you know, pedestrians have the right of way, and all vehicles should be stopping for them. Could you please have the stop signs removed and ensure the trail crossing warning signs are installed on both directions of the road? Thanks, and please give me a call if you have questions. I did go to the trail today, and I did see that the stop signs are still facing the trail users and not those that are using Cora to get into Aronica. And I will give a copy of this too. I did send it to the board. I'm not sure. I don't know how much time I have left, 44 seconds. I'll be quick. Second thing I'd like to say, you're in an unenviable position. You're elected oftentimes without a lot of fanfare or appointed. Oftentimes people don't have come before a body like you when there's a concern or a complaint. And I understand that, so I appreciate what you do, but I think I want to convey to you, I was an educator my entire 32 years of teaching. I've never noticed a school that is only 1/10 of a mile apart from another like school, both K-5 schools. I'll just say it's odd. It's not normal. I think if it went around the nation, you wouldn't see this happen. I clocked it. It's 1/10 of a mile from the edge of Aronica to, Mount Stewart to Aronica. Consider adopting a board policy where you will never do this again. Put two schools together. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Bates.
Hi, I'm Nancy Kaspari, and I live on 1718 North Bluegrass Lane. I have went around today and I took a bunch of photographs of all the problems that I'm visualizing in our neighborhood. For one, they put a four-way stop at 15th and Cora instead of a light. So instead of people being able to flow through that area, they're coming up Bluegrass Lane in droves. and speeding. We end up having anywhere from 35 to 40 cars in about a 15 to 20 minute period, twice a day going up our streets. To me, this is just unacceptable and was not planned out. Also, the students are, when they're getting out of school, there's crosswalks. Yes, some of them go to nowhere or go to a ditch because they haven't been fully completed, or they've actually been completed 3 times. I think they're working on it again for the 4th, which must be not very cost effective. There's not any flashing yellow lights at the college. They have flashing yellow lights when a pedestrian goes through the crosswalks. They need to have that also on Cora Street. So these students have, these children have a safer route to get across and to get to their cars. Up the street is no parking on the right side. There's anywhere from 1 to 2 layers of cars parking in the no parking area to pick up their students. And then there's also cars parking on the other side. So these kids have to manipulate through 3 sets of cars lined up and you know, trying to get across to a sidewalk. Also on our street, there's many more students walking home now, and they're going on the other side of the John Wayne Trail. So they're going up our streets, which that's not a problem, but they're also trying to cross the roads to get on the other side of the sidewalk. And there's cars, like I said, 35 to 39 cars at each twice a day. And if the new school opens up and changes their scheduling, half hours, which is what I've heard, then we're going to have 4 times a day. But they're using our street to bypass going through Cora and 15th because it's a faster route for them to manipulate and get through. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name's Lee Kaspari. I live at 1718 Wrestling. I did give a brief members have. I'm not so much concerned about a copy of my letter.
I'll ask you to speak a little bit into the microphone more.
Is that better?
Yes, the fan kicked on right when you started speaking.
With the mask, but it's different. I did provide to the board members a copy, not so much my letter of October 12th, the date of record, but what I have on the bottom, I'll read, is very concerned that feasibility and budget concerns. As a school board, I feel it's imperative that your consideration be more than financial. For example, the well-being of our children's lives. I agree pretty much with what everybody has expressed about concerns, the traffic and so on in our neighborhood. My strong feeling is that nothing is going to be resolved until we have a north entrance into the 2 schools. I never heard of a school being built on a dead end, as Arana is the second school. I'm in Mason, Aronica. So hopefully that will be a very real concern. And I just want to say that I lived in Denver, suburban Denver at the time of Columbine, and I'll never forget it. I mean, I was having lunch as I saw these ambulances going down, and all that remains in my mind is the fire trucks, the ambulance, the police. If there was just a dead end, I think it would be far worse than it was. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're speaking with a theme tonight, I'm sorry to say, but I read the entire 220-page traffic study that was done prior to the construction of these 2 schools by Morrison and Morelli, if I'm saying that correctly, from Spokane, which was done in March of 2018. The scope of the study was significant, but it really all boiled down to a 3-page addendum memo from the city, from the study group of Morelli and Harrison, the school district, and the city, where it was decided there would be one ingress egress access to both Mount Stewart and to Ida Nason Elementary. In reading all of that, I never once saw the community of Stonebridge being an access in and out and depended on to get to that school. You have an approved access for both of those schools. I have provided you with a map this evening that shows you a visual description of where 15th and Cora is, which I'm sure is no news to anybody. And I've drawn 2 blue lines to show you the very convenient shortcut that somewhere between 35 and 40 parents used on a daily basis twice a day. It has significantly changed the nature of our neighborhood, and we've not even seen Aronica open. I'm just here to tell you folks, if it were me and I was coming down 15th and I saw a lineup on 15th to make a right-hand turn to Cora and go all the way back into Aronica, I wouldn't be doing that. Take a ride on Bluegrass, folks, and a shortcut right through the neighborhood, one right turn, and you're past all of Mount Stewart back into Aronica Elementary. We're waiting to see what happens apparently on Monday morning. There's people in our group tonight that do car counts 3 and 4 days a week. We would invite anybody to come and sit on our front porches and count cars with us. We now have a speedometer sign out in front of our home on a light standard. And so we're hoping that reduces the speed of people. We're asking one simple question. Please encourage people to use your designated and approved ingress and egress routes, and they do not include our neighborhood. Thanks.
Thank you. Let's see, is there anyone else there who would like to do public comment? So now is the time for attendees in Zoom. I do see a hand up in Zoom. Let's see, Carly Clark has her hand up. Okay.
Hi, I tried to turn my video on, but it wouldn't let me. So hello, my name is Carly Clark. My address is 302 West Bowers Road here in Ellensburg. I am going to deviate from the theme of the others who have shared this evening. I would like to share some great news. My son, Argent, has started at the middle school this year and has been having an absolutely fantastic first year of 6th grade. Huge shout outs to all of his teachers, Mrs. Grassel, Mrs. Boast, Mrs. Clark, Mrs. Kratzer, and Mrs. Hernandez. He's really enjoying 6th grade and the navigation has been great. So huge ups to everybody who's working there. And another shout out, we also have a temporary daughter this year. We have an exchange student from Spain who started at Ellensburg High School. And I wanted to give a huge shout out to Jeff Hashimoto and everyone who is helping out with the cross country team. They have been putting on amazing safe practices and safe events. And he has just, him and his team have been working so hard to make sure that all of those students are able to have a great time. I'd also like to give a great shout out to Gay Ott and the EHS choir program. The Monday night EHS choir program was absolutely fantastic. And I appreciate all of the work that Gay is doing to make sure that these students are still able to do fun things safely. So all in all, we're just having a really great year and we appreciate everybody who's making that happen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. If anyone in Zoom would like to participate in public comment, once again, raise that hand icon. Leslie, can we set a 30-second timer? Thank you to everyone participating in public comment, to those in the room and also to those on Zoom. At this point, we will be closing public comment. Superintendent Haber, do you have any clarification?
No, I do not, and we will need to do executive session. So,
Okay. Sorry, my computer's dead, so I need to follow that agenda. All right, so proposed items for future consideration. All right, I'm not seeing any proposed items for future consideration. Board, we do have an executive session tonight. About how much time would we like to set for executive?
Until 7:20.
Sorry.
7:20, about 15 minutes.
All right, board, we are going to adjourn to executive session until 7:20. For those that are here and online, we will come back. There won't be any action taken and we will be closing out the meeting. You are welcome to stay though until we come back. I think the board work group is set. Date. Okay. Clarification and next steps. Ginger, anyone else? Do you have any clarification and next steps? All right, signing official documents. Leslie will trip you if you try to leave without signing documents. So sign those documents. That leads us to adjournment, and we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And I second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.